Alright, Shalom. I want to start by saying, Call Allah, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honor to the Apostles of Israel, aka the Apostles of Great Millstone. And peace and love to all the Akim, continue to preach the truth, and all truth sincerity. Alright, real quick, the inspiration of this video is, me and a brother, we was building yesterday, and we were speaking about a lot of things involving the history of Israel, as far as involving King David, King Solomon, Yahushai, of course. Just the things out of history, a lot of our battles that we had, and how we came about to being such a great nation through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and how the Lord is about to basically reactivate that. And I think through the spirit, I'm gonna use that title because that's what the Lord is about to do. He said He's about to build up the tabernacle of David and fill in the breaches thereof. Now, I'm gonna read that scripture, but I'm gonna read the scripture I was reading today that inspired the video through the spirit to an example of how it was when David was around. Because people have this people have this misconception that like it was just the story of David and Goliath and that's it. David had a hell of an interesting life to lead to his son's 40 years of peace. What David did for Solomon to have that was impeccable. And it was all through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai because the Lord said that David was a man after the Most High's heart. Okay? And David was a warrior, but also he was a kind man, and he was merciful, and he was also balanced. It wasn't just like, he was all kill this, that, but he was doing everything, and he gave all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we hope to be a part of, because when Yahushai comes back, He's going to reactivate all of that, man. Because what I said that Yahushua came in the root of Jesse and in the branch of David. Okay? Along, of course, Solomon through the spirit reincarnation, but the Lord himself, Yahushua, when he was actually Yahushua, when he knew who he was and who he was in his past life, when he knew what he represented, the savior of the nation of Israel. That's what we need, and that's what it's about. But the Lord, when Yahushua comes back, what the world has misconstrued is that He's going to be all nice and lovey-dovey and accepting everybody, and that's not the case. He's going to be doing what David did and greater, man. Along with His elect, hopefully be part of the Lord, hopeful elect. That's what's about to happen, and that's what these devils and that's what Esau's scared of, man. They're scared of Jacob waking up, because if they wake up, that's what it's going to be woken up, is that mentality that David had. I'm talking about the elect, man. Because they actually thought they was going to be able to keep the whole nation of Israel asleep, which most importantly, they thought they was going to be able to keep the elect asleep. But the Lord put His spirit out on the earth, and there's nothing they can do about it. And the Lord is bringing up the nation of Israel, and starting with the house of David through Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay, and that's what's about to go down. So you always pray for the spirit. It's not just about fighting; it's about the mentality as well. Because our weapons of warfare are not carnal. David's whole time of fighting, it was not all about carnal. A lot of it was, but a lot of it was also, you got to think about how David was on a mental standpoint. How Solomon was on a mental. Well, Solomon had peace, but when David, his mental strength was strong as well. And of course, he went off, he did certain things, and his life along the way, it got shaky for him. But at the end of the day, David was a man after the Most High's heart. He was a man after the Most High's heart. And that's what the house of David represents, is the Most High's heart, the elect. Those spirits that were there back then are being woken up, risen again. Just like Yahushua was risen. He's waking up His elect. The ones he shed His blood for in the first place. That's what's going on. And those are the ones that's being reactivated. We were in a slumber, but now the Lord is waking us up because we're at the end. We're at the end, and the Lord is making good on His promises, all the promises and His covenants, and all with His prophecies, man. Okay, so with that, I'm just gonna get a couple scriptures, and Lord willing, be edifying. Oops. Here we have the book of Amos, chapter 9. Verse 11, starting at verse 11. And it says, "In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and the breaches are holes. You know, the house of David has fallen because why? We went to sleep. We were asleep. The whole nation was asleep, but starting with the house of David, the elect, they're asleep. And it says, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it. I will build it as in the days of old. Now his ruins is what, you know, later on in his life, man. You know, a lot of things happened with David where it was like it's very, very awful, man, and it was very fucked up. Okay, but he's gonna take away those ruins, man. Ain't gonna be no more of his sons trying to kill him. He committing adultery. Ain't gonna be none of that. It's gonna be none of that, man. It's gonna be all the breaches is gonna be filled. He's gonna raise up the house, and it's gonna be as in the days of old when everything was good, when he was running through these nations behinds, man. When he was getting to it, man, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai. And that's what these devils are scared of, man. They're scared of the house of David, the true house of David, the true elect, the true Israel of the Most High. Okay. Verse 12, and it says that they may possess the remnant of Edom. See, it said Edom first, man, because what? You're numero uno, you're enemy numero uno, man. You're the nation that the Lord hates, man. That the Lord said he actually hates, man. You're the only nation that fits that mold. And that's you, Esau, man. And that starts with you anti-S's, you small hats. Okay, that's going to you, man. No matter what you do to us, man. The Lord already got your number, man, and he's coming for you. Okay? And it says, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. Verse 13, it says, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed, and the mountain shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people Israel, a people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities, and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. So what? Y'all gonna build our cities, man, and we're gonna drink the wine. We're gonna drink the wine of the land, man. And y'all gonna be the ones having to trample it with your feet, man. It's gonna be y'all that's gonna have to tread the wine press, and we're gonna reap. Okay? And it says, they shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. So what? We're gonna have gardens, we're gonna have fruit, vegetables, livestock. We're gonna have all of that, man. We're gonna be Gucci. And we're gonna be Gucci forever, man. And the whole world is gonna see that forever, man. That's the story, man. And that's how the story ends, and that's how it's gonna continue. Because it's gonna be actually a world without end. Okay, the nation of Israel, the kingdom of Yasharallah through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's what's coming, man. That's what the future holds. So all this bullshit here, man, it's all temporal. It's all temporary, man. And it says, and I will plant them upon their land. So what? That's not them people that's in Israel now, because they're not living out the covenant and the promises that the Lord made to the nation of Israel. For one, they're only calling themselves Jews, man. What about the other tribes, man? What about the other tribes? You know what I'm saying? What about the Lord being there, ruling over his people and the nation and all the other nations, seeing Israel being sanctified through Yahweh Shai? Okay? Because these small heads, they don't want to believe that in the Messiah has come. So they're in the nation of Israel. They're in the land of Israel. They're reaping the benefits of being oppressing us, but yet they're talking about they're the oppressed ones. And they don't never talk about nothing except the Holocaust, man. They don't ever talk about nothing else. We don't ever talk about their triumphs. And, you know, they don't ever talk about, you know, back in the day, because that's not them. They don't have no spiritual connection to that, man. Well, on the good side, anyway. And it says, and I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land, which I have given them, saith the Lord thy God. And these devils, first off, these devils, these small hats, they're over there, and there's some over here. That don't make sense. Because the Lord said when Israel was put back in the land, that Babylon was going to be destroyed. And this clearly fits the criteria and the description of being the daughter of Babylon. So how the hell are you over here and over there in the land of Israel? Okay? And how do you own everything? You have all the money, but yet you're being oppressed. And you're talking about people being anti-S against you, man. But so now you got to explain who are these people that's coming against you, saying that you're not the real Jews? That's what the question is, man. Why have you not addressed? Why has that not been addressed to the world? Here it is. You have all this little bullshit like Kyrie Irving saying what he said, Kanye West saying what he said, but yeah, they don't. But here the prophets are out. The prophets are out here all the time on the highways and byways and on the internet, man. And yet there's no peep in the media. But it's okay though, because the Lord is going to give us the shine, and the Lord is going to give us the fame in the land we put the shame. Okay, but now let's go back to an example of how it was for David back in the old days. Matter of fact, hold up. 12. This is a little taste of how it's going to be, and then some. Because this is without the full glory of heaven and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This is just the spirit of the Lord dealing with the nation of Israel through King David and his triumphs, man. But this is not even it. This is just a little bit of taste. It's going to be a whole enhancement of the nation of Israel, including King David and all those men that was there back in the day. So this is First Chronicles chapter 12. Hold up. Hold up. Excuse me. Oh, Salah. Oh, 21. That's where to start. This is a little taste, and there's a lot of other examples, but I was reading this today randomly, and through the spirit, I had to touch on it. Now, this is the book of First Chronicles chapter 12, verse 21. And they helped David against the band of the rovers, for they were all mighty men of valor and were captains in the host. For at that time, day by day, there came to David to help him, until it was a great host, like the host of Yahweh. So you have all these great men of valor of the nation, of the men of Israel, man. And those very men are still or right here to this day out here, man. They have not been forsaken. They have not been done away with, man. No matter how much Esau wishes they were. Okay, and it says verse 22. For at that time, day by day, there came to David to help him, until it was a great host, like the host of Yahweh. Verse 23. And these are the numbers of the bands that were ready armed to the war, and come to David to Hebron to turn the kingdom of Saul to him. So this is when the kingdom was being ruled by Saul, but it was being transferred over to David. Okay, because David was through the prophecy, David was the one set to be the king, set to be king of Israel. According to the word of the Lord, verse 24, the children of Judah that bear shield and spear were 6,800, ready, armed to the war. That's one example. That's one tribe. Now this is what the Lord said He's about to build up, and then some. Because when Yahweh Shai comes back, all these men that's going to be mentioned here are going to have spiritual powers, man. That's what these devils want. That's what they wish that's what the world is going to see and know, how we are the chosen nation of the only true power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, the one true living God. That's how they're going to understand. Because He's going to endow through Yahweh Shai the nation of Israel that spiritual powers, man. This is nothing what we're about to read here, just still like kind of like as men. Even these men were on a level, but it can't even compare to the level we're about to be on soon. All right, so continuing on. Verse 25, of the children of Simeon, mighty men of valor for the war, 7,100. Verse 26, of the children of Levi, 4,600. Verse 27, and Jehoiada was a leader of the Aaronites. That's part of Levi, and with him were 3,700. And Zadok, a young man, mighty of valor, and of his father's house 22 captains. Verse 29, that's another Levite. And it says, and the children of Benjamin, the kindred of Saul, 3,000. For hitherto the greatest part of them had kept the ward of the house of Saul. And of the children, verse 30, and of the children of Ephraim, 20,800 mighty men of valor, famous throughout the house of their fathers. You hear the swag in this, man? And it says, and of the half tribe of Manasseh, 18,000, which were expressed by name to come and make David king. So that's be your so-called Cubans. And it says, and of the children of Issachar, which were the so-called Mexicans, which were the men that had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do. The heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment. Verse 33, of Zebulun, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, with all instruments of war, 50,000, which could keep rank. They were not of double heart. So they was on one accord, man. They was all on the same page. And it says, and Naphtali, 1,000 captains, and with them with shield and spear, 30 and 7,000. So 37,000. 37,000 Zebulunites ready for the war, expert in war. And how much more expert in war when we get those spiritual powers, man? Under Yahweh Shai, man. The world is in for something, man. These heathens are in for a treat, man, and not a good treat. Okay, because the Lord said the remnant of Edom and all the heathen, man. After He builds up the tabernacle of David, this is part of the tabernacle of David, man. You see what it's describing? All men expert in war, thousands of them, man. Commands. And it says, and Naphtali 1,000 captains, and with them with shield and spear 37,000. Verse 35. And of the Danites, expert in war, 28,600. And of Asher, such as went forth to battle, expert in war, 40,000. And on the other side of Jordan, of the Reubenites and the Gadites, so the so-called Native Americans, the Seminole Indians, man, the ones that was getting busy on this side against Esau, man. It says, and on the other side of Jordan, of the Reubenites and the Gadites, and of the half tribe of Manasseh, with all manner of instruments of war for the battle, 120,000. All these men of war that could keep rank came with a perfect heart to Hebron to make David king over all Israel. So the whole nation saw this. All these great men of war, experts in war, spears, shields, thousands and thousands, man. King over all Israel, and all the rest also of Israel were of one heart to make David king. So everybody in the nation everybody was down and everybody was with it, man. That's what this is, man. And that's what the Lord said he about to bring back up. He about to reactivate, man. And he's going to fill in the ruins, man, fill in the breaches, man. So it ain't gonna go off no more. No one's gonna sin no more in Israel. Okay? And it says, and there they were with David 3 days, eating and drinking, for their brethren had prepared for them. Moreover, they that went were nigh them, even unto Issachar and Zebulun and Naphtali, brought bread on asses, and on camels, and on mules, and on oxen, and meat, meal, cakes of figs, and bunches of raisins, and wine, and oil, and oxen, and sheep abundantly, for there was joy in Israel, man. So this is when David became king. After all his dealings with Saul, all this happened. This is when David became king, and these are the same men that went through the days of King David, warring with these other nations, putting them into subjection, man, to where Solomon was able to have that 40 years of peace, man. And that's what the Lord said he's about to build back up in the earth, and then never go off again, and never sin again, and have spiritual powers, and have Yahweh Shai at the top, governing, ruling forever. Never being taken out of our land again, never going off again, never going into slavery again, never being captive under these heathens again, man. This is the last train ride of captivity, man. This is the exciting part. You see all these prophecies coming to pass. This is what this is about. This is exciting times, man. Now, of course, it could get a little rough or whatnot, but at the end of the day, we know what's on the other side of the tunnel. Okay, so with that, hopefully this is edifying. I just wanted to do that real quick, just a little preview to know what the Lord is about to do, man. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna just say all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Kakadash, and double honor to the apostles of Israel, aka the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and love always to all the Akim. Continue to preach the truth and all truth and sincerity. Shalom.